Hey, welcome back to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. If you're tuning in for the first time, Flavor and Fiction is a segment where I read a book from my 2024 reading challenge, I give you a book review, and then I make a recipe related to the book. So you get your flavor and your fiction. This time the category was a book from the Reese Witherspoon Book Club, and I chose Everything Inside by Edwidge Danticat. And one of the ingredients mentioned in the book was berries, which was very generic. So I also went apple picking recently and I wanted to use apple in the recipe. So today I made cranberry apple muffins. Now I have never made anything with cranberries before. I don't really eat cranberries other than, sliding cranberry sauce out the can at Thanksgiving. So today will be an adventure for all of us. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how I made the muffins, and my coworker, Kevin, if you're in today, he will give a little taste test for the camera. But first, let's talk about the book. This is the third book from Danticat that I've read. I read The Dew Breaker and I read Crick Crack. Crick Crack was a story collection much like Everything Inside. And yet they invoked like very different reactions from me. Crick Crack, well, first of all, Danticat is a Haitian American author, and her stories reflect experiences of Haitians in their homeland and across the world. And so Crick Crack had stories that were mainly about women trying to understand their relationships with their loved ones, people close to them. And I would say that Everything Inside, it honed in on defining moments in people's lives. That's kind of what I took from it. And now I don't do spoilers, and it's with short stories, it's kind of hard to describe the book, but just to give you an example of what I mean by defining moments. So there's one story where a man's whole life, the important things in his life are playing out, and regrets and things are playing out in his mind as he's dying. In another story, a woman acts in good faith to help someone and ends up getting stabbed in the back by, the people closest to her. And then in another one, two former lovers meet up to really discuss and reveal what happened that caused the end of their relationship. So it may sound like very common, generic situations, but Danticat is an amazing storyteller. And even when the subject matter is, really heavy, her writing makes it feel light. That's the best way I feel like I can describe that. And she has a way of making you feel connected to the protagonist, even if your life is nothing like theirs at all. I think this book had 8 stories in total. And the traumatic events in their lives were both outlandish and ordinary at the same time. I hope that helps. Let me just say, I recommend her. She has written several other books, fiction, nonfiction, and I hear that she even has children's books and young adult books. I haven't tapped into that yet. And while researching her today, I found out that she also teaches at Columbia University. So she's just a really dynamic person. So if you're looking for something to really pique your interest this season, I recommend anything that she's written. Just pick up something by Edwidge Danticat and you will not go wrong. Okay, so now it's time to show you the video of how I made these muffins, and then you will see a taste test from hopefully Kevin. You want to start by adding your flour to a bowl with your baking powder and your baking soda and a little bit of salt. Just mix that together with ground nutmeg and cinnamon and set it aside while you cut up your apple in bite-sized pieces. Then in a bowl you want to add your egg, sour cream, and butter. Give that a good mix. And then add in your brown sugar and give that a mix. Then you add in the dry mixture slowly. And then you want to put in your apples and your dried cranberries and your chopped pecans. Give it a mix, fold it in, and then put it into your prepared dish, cupcake tin. Then in that same bowl, you want to add more flour and brown sugar and salt and let that mix up really well so you get a nice crumble to put on top. It'll look like that going in and this coming out. Ooh, beautiful. Now it's time to take this to work and let Kevin give us his taste test.
Taste test.
Here we go.
Because it looks good. Good presentation. Nice and crummy. Let's see. Smells delicious. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Take one? We are filming.
Sorry.
Why do you always make faces?
It smells really good.
That's what I said. Mm-hmm.
Apple cranberry with chopped pecans in it.
Okay. A little bit, it's light, fluffy on the inside, more so than it looks like. You know, it's crummy and look like it's gonna be pretty dense, but it's light. And I'm not a big fan of apple, but like, yeah, hot apple. But this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 7, but a 7.7. Let me see, carry the one.
I really thought you were going to
7.7.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to assume that the taste test went well, I hope. And I'm going to, as usual, put a link below to the book, where you can find the book and where you can find this recipe. So I recommend both. They were both a success. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Flavor and Fiction. Happy reading and happy eating.